Okay, so our next session is with Rob Spewak. He's with Efficiency Manitoba. So in the conversations when we were talking with Fenestration Manitoba about, potentially joining with FenCon, one of the key details and one of the key points that they really drove home to us was their relationship with Fenestration Manitoba and all of the collaborative efforts and conversations and Efficiency Manitoba's willingness to listen to the fenestration industry. So we've embraced that. We have a great relationship with Rob and his team. We meet once a month for about an hour online and just talk about, what's going on, or changes coming. They're looking to us for, input on products and things that we can do to improve what Efficiency Manitoba does. So I'd like to welcome Rob. He's going to talk about what's happening at Efficiency Manitoba. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Terry. Thank you so much. It is a big room. Again, my name is Rob Spewak. I've been with Efficiency Manitoba since June of 2022. Previous to that, I was over at Red River College for 15 years. Worked with Ali and Chung. I see you over here. Good to see you. So worked in the Building Envelope Technology Access Center, which is now the Building Efficiency Technology Access Center. So been in building efficiency for about going on 16 years now in the research area. So really happy to be at Efficiency Manitoba. So I was just going to talk a little bit about Efficiency Manitoba. If I say EM, I just mean Efficiency Manitoba and some of the things we're doing, why we exist, some of the challenges we're facing. Then I'll talk kind of about some of the programs that are directly impacted with fenestration products, some that are affected, I don't want to say indirectly, they're part of the programs, but they're not front and center, like they're part of it. So I'll talk about those and then close out a little bit with something of interest, maybe the Innovation Fund as well too. And so, and I can identify a few things where you can find our applications and how to reach us. So about us, we're fairly new. I think we just celebrated our 5th birthday. So we're a fairly new Crown Corporation. So we are not Manitoba Hydro, but we definitely work with Manitoba Hydro. So yeah, we are the newest Crown Corp. So we help people lower their energy bills. That's what we're all out to do. Improve your thermal comfort, reduce your footprint on the environment. So that's our prime reason to exist. So, and that's by offering rebates. As Peter, my old mentor who just retired, we were out for coffee and he showed me pointed to the Burger King sign where they had a discount sign. He goes, "That's us. We're the coupons, the coupons for energy efficiency." So I kind of like that one. So that's kind of what we do. So we're trying to make it more cost effective for you to do upgrades. So that's what we're all about. We have over 40 programs in a lot of different areas. And if you'll find a bucket to fit us in generally. So, and what we pride ourselves on too is equity and access too. So we want to be accessible to all Manitobans, regardless of your income and where you live. So that's very key to what our ethos is. So with us, as we all know, the energy landscape's really changing right now. We're talking about getting off fossil fuels, all kinds of issues with that here since the world was built and runs on it primarily. We're starting to change that a little bit, but our current system in Manitoba, it's not going to handle. If we just switched everything from natural gas and other methods to electricity, that's just not going to work. So we realize there's other things, and that's why I'm so happy to be in the building envelope area and the energy efficiency area, because we're getting to the heart of getting the demand down first. So that just cuts the need for that generation part. So it's a great place to be in, and it's really exciting because things are changing and evolving very rapidly. So we talk about energy efficiency first. It's really about not having to build extra capacity. So it's one of those things that we should be doing first. So it reduces the need for costly infrastructure, more transmission lines, all of that good stuff. So, and our CEO, Colleen Kurlick, often says the most cost-effective form of energy is the energy you don't need to generate at all. And I've used something similar in that too. When you make buildings last longer, the most green building is one you don't have to keep rebuilding over and over again. So there's a lot of synergies in our way of thinking. So how do we accomplish it all? So obviously with our programs that we have out here, as my introduction here is we want to work with industry. We want to know how to do things better. We are listening. We are flexible. We will adapt programs, make new programs, whatever we need to do to keep ourselves on the cutting edge and not on the bleeding edge. We're willing to do that. So in response to everything that's going on, we're looking at 3 different areas right now. Of course, first one's energy efficiency first. So we've got over 30 years of history in the province of this, but it remains the core of our work, and it's always going to. So we're trying to achieve even greater energy savings. And to me, like, we're getting past the point of incandescent light bulbs to more efficient lighting. Like, everything we're going to do is going to be incrementally a little bit harder to do once we start getting into the finer details. So it's going to be a lot of thought that has to go behind new programs. And so, is that going advanced or not? Not yet. There we go. I'm not even sure if I'm on the right one. I think I am. And so we're talking about beneficial electrification too. So that's not just switching off of fossil fuels and natural gas and everything, and going to electricity, but beneficial electrification. So that's things like heat pumps, and we're getting better efficiencies of those technologies that use electricity. So that's one of the other things: ground source heat pumps, district systems, those sorts of things. All right. I think we can go one more, Terry. Yeah, I got to go one more. So, yeah, and so reducing the demand as we go to electrification is going to be critical. Like I said here, there's only so many rivers we're going to dam off, and so many acres of land we're going to take away from farmland to put up solar panels and wind on it. So demand is something we can hopefully have a great impact on. So for Manitoba, we're obviously looking at cold days in winter. Peak demand is another thing too. When you got that -30 out, which we all just love, and we're trying to keep ourselves warm and comfortable inside, that demand is something that's going to be very important too. So we're actually looking at designing demand programs. That's going to be a new thing that's kind of in its infancy right now, and we're working closely with Manitoba Hydro on that one, which we obviously need to. So, and our goal is to empower you to navigate your own energy priorities, really, and make decisions that make sense for you depending on your situation. And peak demand is up there now. One more, Terry. You got it? Yeah, and so again, the peak demand is something that's going to be very critical too. So it's we got energy, and then we've got power, and the amount of power we need at any one given moment is going to be one of those things that we need to look at. So I'll be interested to see how we design programs around that. That'll be interesting. So so many opportunities with that, with electric vehicles and repurposed batteries as their way to store energy and offset peak loads with things like that. It's going to be quite an exciting time to watch how this all folds out. So very interesting times for sure. So no, I think you can hang on there. So that's a brief overview of what we do, and let's just talk a bit now about some of the our offers that we talk about here. Did we go too far here? Maybe go one back, Terry. Yeah, lots of text on this slide here. There's over 40 programs we have. So there's, like I said, I'm going to stick to the ones that are really relevant, where the fenestration industry is directly involved in and indirectly involved in. But as you can see, there's kind of something for everybody in there. And whatever doesn't fall into a bucket, well, we've got the one called custom solutions, and that's where you start into custom engineering equations and energy savings equations and things like that. Primarily on our industrial side, you'll see that. Program design, this is an interesting one too. So we have a lot of factors that we look at. Obviously, the energy savings is unitary energy savings per a measure, say per a window, per a door, per installation is key to what we do. Type of energy source you're using for it is important. How much extra does it cost? If you're going to go to status quo and you're going to go to the better window, that's how much extra is that going to cost you? So that's something we take into account. Who our customers are, where they are, and also what's on the market, like what is available out there. So Windows is a great example, as we'll talk more a little bit about how we set our baselines, what is achievable out there. So, and we work on something called the PACT ratio, which is a program administrator cost test. So obviously we want to not spend more than it costs. We want to save that kilowatt hour or save that BTU. So we got to be cognizant of that. And that does create challenges, as I said, when you start getting away from the simple technologies like light bulbs. It gets costlier to do certain things like air tightness, which I'm near and dear to my heart with. So we'll talk about that one a little bit. And here's just some background stuff. I know the slides are going to be available, but A lot of us refer to our website, but it is really good. It's pretty simple to navigate. So efficiencymb.ca. So a lot of our programs you can look. We have our eligibility requirements spelled out pretty clearly on the web pages. Program guides are readily available to download for you. And we can walk you through application processes too. We have a great admin team that'll help you with that. So if nothing's answered from the website. All right, so the first program, which is the one that I spend most of my days in, is the Building Envelope Program, or BEP. We're the best team ever, as we dub ourselves. So we work in the commercial, industrial, ag side. I do delve into residential a bit, but this is where my days are generally spent, is in the commercial side. So with our team, you advance me. Yeah, one more. There we go. Yeah, so our team is here. Ashley and Donna are in the audience here, so come find us after. And we have our booth, so we'll be hanging out. And if you want to reach us any questions, we're here to answer you. Here, we're all about customer service and making it easy on you to reach out and find out about our programs. Okay, so eligibility. So commercial buildings, natural gas, electricity. We're talking most of our buildings here, or if not all of them. Building envelopes, so we talk about roof wall insulation, curtain walls, operable windows, doors, all of that's eligible. Anything where that interior meets the exterior here, that's all game for us. So that's what we're looking at. And here's a bit of a rundown here too. So it's just basically any questions about it. Number one is find out if your project's eligible or not. Applications are submitted online. We just went live now, so we're doing a few tweaks with it now to make it a little bit easier, and maybe adjust our drop-down menus for material selections just to make it a little bit more user-friendly. So that's all in the works too. You'll get an approval and do the work, submit invoices, and get your incentive. I'm simplifying it a lot. There's a lot of work that goes in between all of that, but that's generally the process of how it works. And just some of our incentives, we delineate between surface and cavity insulation. So like your blown-ins and your loose fills, we'll call cavity, that are going to structural members, or surface, which is the better one, which I like to see when you're getting rid of that thermal bridging. So we obviously pay more for the surface. And there's an example here for a 10,000 square foot roof. So if you're increasing the surface insulation from R20 to R40, here's a simple equation we use, and that's worth $15,000. So we do cap our incentives out at the material costs alone. You can agree or disagree to it, but some of the cheaper materials, like blown-in cellulose, when you're filling an attic, I've seen incentives where the incentive actually tops out at the material cost. So you're basically getting all of your material paid for in those cases, which is nice. So maybe one day we'll pay more and pay for a little bit of the labor because you're doing good things, as Peter, my old supervisor, used to say, but we'll see where that goes. Windows, fenestration. So our baseline for windows is U-value 1.6 metric. And for curtain walls, it's 2. And so we have an equation for that. It's 1.6 minus the U-value times the window area, times it by $150 for the windows, or $200 for the curtain wall. So that's how we do it. And it was for the sliding doors as well, or patio doors, which is essentially a big window that moves. So there's an example there, 2,000 square feet of windows, got to convert to metric. And then, that was worth about $11,000, 11 to 12,000 roughly. So it's generally the math on how that works for our window incentives. So for eligibility too, it's commercial, industrial, ag, religious, multi-unit, residential buildings, heated with electrical, natural gas. Project is not started, although we've been known to be flexible on that. If you've started and you didn't get the application in here, we want to give out our money. So we don't advertise that so much. That's why I didn't put it in writing, but we generally have some leniency on that, where we will, if you got all the invoices and all the proof you did the work, we can be flexible on that. And your contractor must be registered with EM as well. And so we're also right now with the supplier bonus time on this too, for $250 for registered suppliers. So that's for projects completed before March 31st next year. And so that's one of the newer things that we've been doing. And also increasing our incentives 25% for buildings heated with electricity. And a couple of reasons for that too. The electricity, it's just more to acknowledge the fact that there are customers outside of the urban centers where they may not have natural gas, and the trades contractors may be a little bit hard to get to them. So we're just trying to incentivize you and give you a little bit more just to make that inclusivity aspect, not leaving you out. And our supplier bonus, we do have other EM programs that do have it. Building envelope can be a little more complex. There's assemblies, there's different things. It's not just changing a light bulb. So it's a little bit more of a process. And there is back and forth that I do with contractors because we do work on effective R value calculations. So that's a lot of my lifetime is spent, looking at spacing of structural members and working out what the effective R values are. So it can get a little confusing sometimes, or just some clarification needed. So that's why we're giving a little higher bonus on that program. Right. Yeah, and so afterwards, with the invoicing, this is what I do on the post-engineering reviews: is look at the materials that went in. It's really as simple as just what was on the application for square footage, square meters. Does everything match? And we just work on material invoices. So having that spelled out is key. So having good invoices for me and making them simple is much appreciated. When you've got a U value spelled out for every type of window, say picture, here's your U value awning, and have all the areas out, and your dollar value, makes my life so much easier. Then I can just go through them a lot quicker and get them processed really fast. And a lot of the invoices I get are pretty simple to go through. So, just some of the other stuff too: install address, product name, unit prices, it's all there. And a couple examples here. This one's with Manitoba Housing Renewal. That one had 300 windows. Incentive was worth about $20,000. You can see the kilowatt hour savings was over 52,000 kilowatt hours per year. And bill savings, not insignificant, $2,600 a year. Next one. Yeah, all good. Yeah, Wellington Crescent. So that was a combination of dual and triple pane windows. Obviously makes the building look a lot nicer too. And that one was over $42,000 in savings. And units missing off there, I think that was kilowatt hours, over 13,000 kilowatt hours, and $3,500 in bill savings. So it adds up over time when you look at the life of a window. And we had the pleasure of visiting this one. Pretty cool little place downtown. And that one did roof cavity insulation, window, pretty good incentive of $46,000 there. And you're starting to approach nearly 1 million kilowatt hours. So it's starting to get pretty good for savings, $37,000 a year. So we're starting to talk some numbers that are significant when you look at some of the bigger projects. Air tightness. I worked with this fellow here named Gary Proskew, and we've crawled around many buildings. I don't know how many we've done, Gary, 80, 100. So basically we're blowing air in and out of buildings and looking for leaks and coming up with numbers of how leaky they are. And this is one of the ones that, I don't want to say tricky, but the test can cost a lot. When you get into a big building, it's, you can get into $25,000, $30,000 easily with the prep and things like that, and how many people you need, all the unforeseen things you need. Even doing like a building in downtown Winnipeg, you may be able to have 2 or 3 people hook up a blower door, but security. I have a few interesting characters that walk the sidewalks at night here in Winnipeg, and that's typically when you do the jobs. So you might need to man a couple doors, and all of a sudden it starts adding up labor. Now you need 3 or 4 extra people. You've got to pay them, and price of the job just starts going up. So a lot of it is not technical. It's a lot of and actually, Gary, I'd say most of the problems we had were not technical. It was more logistical problems, and breakers blowing with older buildings. You're trying to pull power out to power these fans and tripping breakers. And I don't know how many steps we put in trying to find a breaker panel to reset them to start the fan up again. But all said, this stuff costs a lot. But air tightness is one of those ones. We know there's energy savings, and further to that, it's occupant comfort. It's building durability is probably the biggest one. The energy is actually the red herring out of all this. It's the durability, and it's that deposition of moisture that's trying to get from the warm, humid interior to the exterior. Finds its way into the building envelope cavities. It hits dew point, freezes. Number of examples in Winnipeg of buildings where there's scaffolding under it on the sidewalk because stuff's falling down on it. So it's just more than energy too. So I think when we hopefully this becomes permanent programs with us. We're working on it. We're collecting data right now, but it's, we're gonna have to sell it on just more than energy too. It's a lot of other things too. Sound downtown, sound travels through air leaks very well. So there's all these co-benefits that go along with it. So, we are energy first at Efficiency Manitoba, but there's so many other co-benefits that we want to market that out. So, and as, you know, pertinent to our industry here that we're talking with fenestration, it's with new window installs, how much tighter are we getting the building? Are we capturing that? Right now, we're not. We're just working on U values for the frame in. So we know there may be co-benefits on air tightness. And how do you capture stuff? Well, you measure it. So stay tuned for this. This is something we're looking at. And it's a good input to have too, especially, Grant talked a lot about modeling today, making our models, every model's wrong. It's just some are more wrong than others. And, getting into more effective data that goes in, or more accurate data, we can feed into our commercial deep energy retrofit program. These air tightness values can go in there and make the model much more accurate, and our new buildings program as well. And we're also looking at this for residential too. And with the advice of, with Gary and Prairie House Performance too, we've been looking at pre-1950s housing we might start with. We are very aware of unintended consequences too, and you tighten up buildings and start getting into air quality issues too. I've dealt with this on my own house too when I did a furnace retrofit, no HRV. I needed an HRV because now our house was actually fairly tight, and miraculously it's a 4-level split. I got lucky, but it just goes to show you touch one thing in the building, other things get affected. So we're cognizant of those, and we're looking at our programs with that. You can stay on that one. We don't specifically mention it, but we're working, Ashley, Don, and I are working on wording in our program with overhead doors. And we do take them, and not everybody posts U values of overhead door manufacturers, but our values are very common. So a couple different ways we can deal with it. The way I've been dealing with it is just, if it's a steel door, I've been going to the NBC code and using the equations to essentially discount that R value and convert it to U. So looking, say, a 2-foot on center steel stud wall with insulation in it, using the insulation values. And it's been quite effective. So is it perfect? Probably not. We could therm model every door. I don't know if I have time to do that or not, but and I guess it is tough for the overhead door industry because there's so many combinations of panel sizes. Do they have windows in them? Do they not? So they typically don't, publish a lot of U values out there, even though some do. So, but it is something we do. So I wanted to mention that, even though it's not explicitly in our program guide. All right, and I will flip over to, and another one thing on the commercial side I forgot to mention too is we did have a stipulation. Well, I'm not even sure if it's still there. We talked about doors, like person doors, must have glazing in them. Kind of doesn't make sense, does it? Like with an opaque door with insulation, it should have a better U value on it. So I had coffee with Peter a couple months ago and asked him where that requirement came from. And Peter looked at me, he goes, well, I guess the thought was we have a Windows program, the door must have a window in it. And it was as simple as that. So things like that, it's, you got a bit of us, I don't want to say I'm young, I'm getting older now, but the younger crew coming in, I'm younger than Peter, I guess, but just we're looking at things again, a second fresh set of eyes and going, why are we doing this? Does it make sense? Does it not? And if it doesn't, well, we can change it. And that's why we want to talk to industry and make tweaks to these programs, make it better. And energy savings are energy savings. If we can find another product to include in it, it makes sense, let's do it. So that's the way we're looking at it. Windows and doors. So this one is our residential program. We have all of our crew is here, I believe. A couple at our booth and in the audience. So everybody you see named on here is here. So track us down. Any other questions for that? I haven't worked as extensively with the residential windows and doors program as I have commercial, but I do work with it. It is simpler, obviously, with commercial. It's we're dealing with contractors and people who know building design. We're dealing with, I don't want to say the word layperson, but we're dealing with the general public out there. We're trying to keep things simple. So we just have it as the $100 for windows and doors installed. And very similar process. Check if you qualify. Eligible products must be Energy Star rated. We have a link to that when you apply. I did it myself, actually, just before I joined EM. I had a couple windows done, so I went through the process. I didn't find it terribly onerous at all. It was fairly easy, and I had my check within 90 days, I believe, too. So it was really efficient. Yeah. And products must be installed at customers' primary residence or their rental property, which must be occupied year-round. Seasonal properties or cottages don't qualify, and commercial properties of more than 4 units aren't eligible. So see other counter with commercial for those ones. And our criteria is fairly simple with this one. It's Energy Star rated with triple pane glass. Energy Star rated. Rebates are based on the number of rough openings. So each opening is counted as one window or one door. Windows and doors must replace existing windows and doors. So new openings, if you're going to cut a hole in the wall and put it in, it doesn't apply. We've ran into that in commercial a little bit. Garages, 3-season sunrooms, porches, verandas, not eligible. Same category as the cottages. So, and invoicing again, always important to have date, proof of payment in full, name of the retailer, name of the seller, product description, and price of the products. So we need all that information, and encourage you to keep your Energy Star stickers until you receive the rebate. We may need that information, so keep them handy. And as I found out, the rebate check just comes to you. Okay, topic of probably debate. I've talked to both Peter and Harry, my successors that worked at EM before me too. Ceiling glazed units, so using existing frames and putting windows into them. So we don't rebate them right now. And I know I've been talking with Adrian and Terry a little bit about this too. I reached out to Peter about it. A lot of different trains of thought for what I'm realizing it right now. We will do it if you model it, but for somebody in a residential place, are they going to spend $1,000 or whatever it is to model a window and get $100 back? Probably not. Actually, they won't. Commercial, if you're doing 100 windows, well, it makes a lot more sense. So that we have seen, but not all that common. Peter and I have accepted them. You know, there are people, not-for-profits with heritage buildings, not a lot of money maybe in the budget. They want to save. So we've done it before. So a couple different approaches we mulled over. You can just eliminate the frame area, go in, glazing area in, take the center of glass U value, base it on that. If we don't have the therm model. Another option I've been using too is the ASHRAE tables too. They have combinations of glazing with framing material, and they have a U values that are out, which as I understand, they're based on certain modeling and testing. Maybe not quite to NFRC 100 now, but it's something. So something we want to formalize too. Since we are doing it, we don't want to be, I use the word ad hoc a lot. We do a lot of ad hoc things. Well, we're going to do it this way, but then if I'm hit by the proverbial bus or win the lottery, I'd prefer the second one. Who's going to pick it up after? Well, what did Rob do? How did he calculate this? So we'd like to kind of formalize these things. So, it's part of the reason that I'm really happy to be engaged with FenCon and be here today too, and just engage with you all and just hear some of the ideas, because there may be some more desirable ways to do this and easier ways to do it. Residential will be tricky just because of the way the program works, and we want to keep it simple for people. So food for thought on that one. And if anybody needs promotional materials for our windows and doors rebate, reach out to us. We have those. I mean, we're here to support your businesses too. The more product you sell, the more incentives we give out. So it's a win-win for everybody here. And with our NEO program, that Métis Energy Efficiency, so the window rebate is $300 an opening for that one. So it's triple. So again, this is part of our equitable approach to things too. So we're giving out extra money for that. Okay, so I'll move on a bit now to some of our whole building offers where fenestration products are a part of. First one is our CEDAR program, Commercial Deep Energy Retrofit Program. These are all fairly new programs, but EM is still fairly new. So this one is, it relies on whole building energy modeling, and it was really interesting to hear Grant's presentation today. And I think just from Terry and I before we got up here, talking a bit about this and how this might evolve, and having more accurate window modeling results into the whole buildings. Right now, it's probably just strictly on U value. It's not talking about install and thermal bridging. So probably some opportunity there for some expanded, more accurate energy modeling. We're looking for minimum 20% energy reduction. I know that can seem like a low number. I've seen a few projects come in that are targeting 40, 50, but we're open to, you can go for the moon if you want. If you go for 80%, go for it here. We'll find a way to probably incentivize you more if you can do something like that. Retrofit scope's got to include two things. Categories are envelope, lighting, or HVAC. and no single measure can account for more than 75% of the overall savings. So, but we want 2 of these measures included every time. Yeah, and so like I said, eligible measures. I mean, to pertinence to the audience here today, obviously, is building envelope, thermal insulation upgrades, better windows, more insulation, air tightness. Hopefully, we keep getting that in there. And it's not an exhaustive list. We encourage project teams to reach out to us if you're doing something novel. We'll find a way to incorporate that. And just some of our deliverables on it: baseline proposed energy models, owner's project requirements, basis of design, and ever-loving invoices we need at the end for the modeling services. And incentives, so it can go up to $6 a square foot. So it can start adding up quite if you start getting some major energy savings here. These rebates or incentives can really start adding up. We offer monthly for modeling, simpler buildings. I've heard anecdotal stuff that the money we give out for modeling covers most of that cost, so it's no out of pocket to the building owner. And again, final as-built energy model is required. Some examples: Negan Center on 181 Higgins. So that one, this one did have windows, insulation for roof, new air handlers, some HVAC, some lighting. 36% energy reduction, and that was over $500,000 incentive that was given out for that project. City of Winnipeg archives, so more envelope upgrades, lighting, boiler, HVAC with HRV. So that one was around 50% energy reduction, $200,000 incentives. So we're talking some fairly sizable numbers there, even in this day and age, I think. McLaren Hotel, window, wall, roof, HVAC, lighting. That one really did well, 60-70% energy savings, and we're looking at over $300,000 of incentives for that building. And so I'll switch over to, so that was the commercial deep energy retrofit. I kind of call this one the gateway drug to a lot of our programs. It's the commercial energy audit program, where you can get someone in and do an energy audit, and it's a fairly new program. A couple of years ago, it's been launched. So it provides energy savings and cost analysis of certain measures that you might want to undertake. Level 3 is a little more in-depth analysis of the proposed upgrades. And we have pre-qualified consultants to do this work. So it's kind of a get in the building, look at where the saving potentials are, and then kind of point you to the other buckets that we have internally to EM. So I don't want to call it the gateway drug, but it's kind of a gateway drug. A lot of benefits here, basically solely because you get the financial analysis. You can look, well, if I do this, what am I going to save? What's it going to cost me? So it's a very useful tool to have. And it's a fairly new program too. I'm not sure if we have a lot of data on it, but here's some of the energy audit outcomes. So utility building summary, the end use breakdowns, identifying any comfort issues. Again, it's not all just about energy. It's about, can you live in the building and be comfortable in it, work in it, all those types of things, and then upgrade recommendations. So they'd probably notice things like your windows are not windows anymore. You can throw balls through them, so you should maybe do something about it. Okay, I will flip. Not sure. Yeah, right there is good. I think I went ahead that time. It's just how you switch up. And here's our current incentives for the offer too. So they max out at $12,500 for it for the ASHRAE level 3. So, but again, any more information on it, just reach out to us too. And we do have a list of pre-qualified consultants. I think you can actually find that right on our website as well too. We're going to flip over to new buildings, which is, I guess I want to say fairly similar to our commercial deep energy retrofit in that it's based on the modeling approach, just it's a new building instead of one that exists. So like I said, very similar to the retrofit program. It's gone through a few iterations now, so they're calling it 3.0. So I'm not sure if that's the DOS version or the Windows version yet, but so it's still evolving. But yeah, we use the NECB 2020 Part 8 performance pass as the basis for analysis for new commercial buildings energy performance. And we require a minimum of 5% energy reduction compared to the NECB baseline. And it applies to standalone, new builds, additions to existing buildings, covers all of those. And again, like I said, a lot of our process, it's kind of boring. It's kind of the same thing. We go through the application, design energy model report, and then paid invoice for the energy modeling services. And important too to get that report done before the shovels go into the ground. Incentives. And yeah, we're looking up to $3.50 a square foot per conditioned floor area. And right now we're saying 5 to 30% annual energy reduction according to NECB baseline. And they're doing a bonus as well too, 10% bonus for completion of projects as well. So, and there's just a list of the required deliverables for it. And we do give a little bit more of incentive on the back end to incentivize you to do that post modeling as well. Sample projects. High Life headquarters. This one was high performance windows, curtain walls, HREs, always mechanical involved in pretty much every one of these I've seen, and lighting. I think you generally see a combination or those three all the time. This one performed 22% better than the MECB baseline. Performance incentive was $94,000 for that building. Reading and Exhibition Center, another one. So yeah, high performing building envelope. Hopefully that did a lot of the heavy lifting there. So that was 34% better than the MEC baseline. I think they're still referencing MECB 2013 on these slides. Performance incentive was almost $200,000 for that one. And last one, my old employer, Ali will recognize that building in Chung, Red River Polytech. This was air tightness tested too, I believe. It was tight though, right guys, when you tested it? Good. So we can call it a high performance building envelope, and it does have solar or active solar PV all over it. Or no, I'm thinking of Innovation Center downtown. Never mind. This one's over at the Notre Dame campus, but 44% better than the baseline. So performance incentive was $220,000 for that building. And so akin to what we have on the new buildings for commercial, we have a new homes program as well. This is on the residential side. And so you can get rebates up to $15,000 per home. So there's air tightness testing for this one. It's incorporated into that. And you can see we have our tiers laid out and how much incentives you can get with it. So like I said, it's very similar to what our commercial new buildings program is, just a little more simplified too, because it's a house, which is a simpler building, you would hope. And with that, we also have a home energy retrofit program as well too. So you can see some of the synergies we have between commercial and residential. And so this one is you get it done by an energy advisor. You have a home evaluation done on it. So we do have rebates, $75 per gigajoule saved. And yeah, so this one's, I'm not sure how popular the program is. I think it's quite popular. It's right now with our economic climate here too. I'm not sure how many people are doing home energy retrofits or full ones, but any help you can get right now with the cost of materials and what's going on with the tariffs, dare I say that T word again, any help is, it's appreciated for any homeowners right now. We're all trying to put gas in our cars or charge them electrically or get our groceries too. So sometimes some of this stuff falls off the radar, and anything we can do to make it a little bit more viable for you, we're out there to do that. And so with this one too, it does go beyond energy as well too. So we're talking about indoor air quality, comfort, things like that, reduce maintenance, like with that air tightness, all things like that, resilience of the building. And so, yeah, all important stuff beyond energy. And last but not least is Innovation Fund. And so we do have an innovation fund at Efficiency Manitoba. So this supports organizations who are looking to advance market new innovative energy efficiency opportunities pertinent to the Manitoba marketplace. So this could be a window developed somewhere else here. It's never been used in our climate, never been used in our zone. If you want to test it out here, do a market demonstration with it. These are the types of things that we're out to fund. And so we do it for pilot projects, and it's just to reduce common adoption barriers. So I'm not sure how many more space age materials we're going to get in the windows. They're coming. So, but we want to test them. We want to see how they perform here. Do they make sense? So that's part of the innovation fund. So we do have, like I said, the two streams, a technology demonstration stream, which is, evaluate the effectiveness of a new product. So we've done a few projects in this. The other one is, like I said, it may be used in another jurisdiction, never used in Manitoba. maybe it does save energy, but maybe it can't stand up to our crazy plus 30, minus 30 weather. It degrades over a couple of years, like who knows? So those are the types of things that you would want to evaluate here. Ideal for technology developers, innovators, product manufacturers who are ready for demonstrations, field tests, small scale technology pilots. Market capacity stream is a little bit different. It's intended to accelerate the adoption of a proven energy technology savings. So maybe a proven window in another cold climate, never been used in Manitoba. You want to do some marketing here in Manitoba with it. That would be, it would fall under that stream. And if there's any question of which stream it might go into, you just keep in touch with us. We have an evaluation process internally. We can help you with that and point you in the right direction for that. Oops, I didn't mean to go forward yet. Right. So yeah, and there's a number of different things we'll consider too. It's how much energy savings potential is there in the project? Does it fit under other programs too? So if you have a new house construction method, for instance, you might fall under the Innovation Fund and you might be able to so-called double dip under the New Homes Fund as well too. So we're not going to eliminate you from the other programs just because you went through the Innovation Fund programs. So you can actually get a bit of a double whammy there if you do it right. And so we're up to 75% of eligible project costs up to $250,000 a year. So it's, and we're not trying to replicate what's being done at the federal level with the NSERCs and the primary research here. We're looking at stuff that's a little bit downstream, the thing called technology readiness levels. We're a little bit further down. We're probably on the scale of 9. We're probably at a 6, 7, or 8 in there. We're not at the 1s. We're a little bit further down. So we're not looking for those primary discovery research projects. So. And a number of different ways to connect with us. Here's some contact information, and that is really all I had. And like I said, we're just really happy to be here and engaging with industry. It's something Peter envisioned myself to do in my role. Yes, I'm going to be working on the side and doing some of the more mundane stuff of energy savings equations and validating our programs and processing applications, but I love the outreach. I love getting out to buildings. I love talking to industry. I love talking to manufacturers, coming and seeing what you're making. Yeah, that's what I like to do, and love to hear from you.
Thanks, Rob. Questions for Rob? Somebody must have something about the sealed unit only replacement. Yeah. Sorry to bring it up again.
Damn it, I was almost off the page.
You were hoping it would glide by it, yeah. Brad, hang on a sec. I want to get a mic on you.
Hey, thanks for that presentation, Brad from Marvin. Just curious, that $100 rebate for a window, right? Do you see it be enough of an incentive for manufacturers, or not manufacturers, for consumers to go after that? Does it entice them to start a project, or is it just nice to have because they already had planned a project?
Yeah. I know we used to, I don't know how long ago it was, we were at $50 a window not too long ago, so it has been increased. Will it increase again? Possibly. We do have some windows and doors teams people here. I don't know if anybody wants to chime in with me or not, or do you rather not say at this point?
I think the industry would like to see it in line with heat pump rebates. Why put a heat pump in if all that energy is going out those old windows?
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah,
I pick up the heat pump guys all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to expand on it because I can. The Greener Homes program was very, very successful in that they spent almost all of their money in about half of the time of the program. And they were very pleased to tell us that about 75% of that money went to putting in heat pumps, converting furnaces or whatever the situation was. My response was that they were 75% unsuccessful because they should have dealt with the envelope first. Make it a better envelope, air tightness, better windows, insulation, etc., before you deal with the HVAC system. Whether or not they heard me, we'll see that in their next program, I hope.
And even further to that too, even with insulation, I've been pushing too. If you're going in there anyway, if you're going to have major air leak paths around your insulation, you can put as much as you want in too. You're not going to get your bang for your buck. So I think purposeful air tightness is something I'm pushing for too.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the draw on the heat pump program obviously is that people get air conditioning in their 1970s home. So obviously that's pretty attractive.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I can say we do have good uptake on the Windows program though. Like I've used it. So is it enough? It's debatable. Can we increase it as costs go up, energy goes up? everything's on the table. We review the programs periodically, but right now it's a strong program.
I want to get you a mic though, so we can hear you.
Sorry, I have a mic.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Oh,
50,000.
In how long?
since
50,000.
So in
50,000 windows and doors since October 2024 is what you said? 2021.
5 years, roughly.
So around
Yeah.
10,000 windows a year average.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Hi, Rob. I think we've talked about this before. So the new buildings program, from my understanding, is the particular uptake is by like a mechanical consultant on behalf of the owner to do mechanical commissioning type work. And as far as the building envelope goes, it seems more unit based. Has there been any appetite or any work to include building envelope testing and higher review of the OPR, et cetera, as part of the new buildings program?
Yes, we've had some conversations about that, and I agree with you here. There is no specific for the building envelope commissioning. So yes, I have talked to that project team about it, and we do talk about it too because of the air tightness testing and things like that. So it's kind of a natural progression to talk about that. So absolutely.
I want to ask a question that's more of a win because I already know the answer to this, but
I hope I do.
how long is the typical process for going through the rebate program residentially?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to pass that one off to someone.
Would you know? You don't have to.
Little help from my friends.
It's what we're here for.
What do we, I think we say 4 to, no,
We say
So for the rebate process for windows and doors, we tend to tell the public that once we receive their application, we'll normally process it within 7 to 10 business days. And during the busy season, that is accurate. During the slow season, I have seen our amazing admin team do it within 3 days. And once we've actually processed that application and get sent to accounts payable, usually within a week or so, there's a check that's made up and put in the mail. So our
Wow.
turnaround time is actually incredibly fast for government.
Very impressive.
We're efficient.
Ha.
Haha. Yeah. Could use a John
Great
Straub joke. I didn't mean to, in the window industry, I didn't mean to frame it that way. We don't want to be a pain to you.
Oh,
I'm pouring all these jokes.
oh, that hurt.
Rob, I have a
does.
question here. Hey, Rob. Do you know how your program compares to other provincial programs of similar scale? I don't even know what other provinces have, but how does Efficiency Manitoba compare? Do you guys talk with other provinces and share information and strategize on
Right.
your
And
programs?
yeah, and the windows and doors residentially, I haven't delved into that as much. I can let them speak to that. I know like a lot of our energy savings equations come from other jurisdictions like our technical resource manual and things like that. So we are looking at what other people are doing for sure. Direct comparisons, I haven't done so much of that myself.
Yeah.
Windows and doors teams, have you looked at any neighboring provinces at all and what they're doing?
Who's
And I see
pointing at?
nods that they
Who's she
have.
pointing at?
what Hydro is offering and the programs in Ontario. It's very typical to see a $100 rebate per rough opening across Canada.
Well, based on your response time and payouts, you guys are light years ahead of BC for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as the rebates for residential windows in BC, there currently is a income qualified program, and if you meet it, and the tiers are reasonable, I think there's 3 levels. You can get up to $9,500 paid out on a $10,000 bill. That's significant. And the real beauty of that program is that the consumer puts out $500 and the bill for the rest goes directly to the government and is paid directly to the contractor. So you put out $500 for $10,000 worth of windows. It's a very popular program in BC. It's run by HPCN, High Performance Contractor Network. HPCS as well. So yeah, very, very popular. It's doing really well. On the other side though, Clean BC, I think is $100 a window, something like that, maybe.
$100 a window.
But the income qualified program that's one of the best ones I've ever seen. Very, very effective. Yeah.
And connected to install loosely. They have a
Somewhat, they have
registered
training.
network for an installer that has been qualified through their program.
Yeah. One of the few programs that I've ever seen for rebates where there's a requirement for the contractor to be registered and quote unquote trained for install. So yeah, it's a cool program.
Great.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah.
Gary?
Hi, Rob. Gary from Extra Park. Over the years, I've talked to Hydro and Efficiency Manitoba about issues out there. You have programs for high efficiency furnaces, programs for windows and doors. As we know, the houses get tight when you do that, and you don't have the proper ventilation. You said yourself you had to put in HRV. And I know you have programs with HRV, but it's not compulsory. And from our standpoint, I mean, we every year have issues where we're going out to customers' homes. This year, 45% humidity. One was 54.6% humidity, and they're refusing to say, well, I can have it at whatever level I want. It's an issue. It's not only issues for the products, but it's a health issue and that. And unless you stipulate if you're putting a high efficiency furnace in or you you should have this in the program, I believe. I've talked about it in the past, Efficiency Manitoba, and they're not putting it as a mandatory when you do this and this, you must have this. So I've talked about before, I thought I'd just throw it up in the air.
No, it's a great point. We do have these internal discussions a lot, and we've seen homes with basements being insulated where they'll cover most of it, but they have a spot where it's not accessible, where you got water pipes or something coming down and it's exposed concrete. Well, you know the rest of what happens there. All that moisture goes to that spot, and you guys wreck my house. So it does happen, and we have to be careful about that. We want you to save energy, but we don't want you to be unhealthy and wreck your place either. So it's definitely something we're looking at, and it's a tough one too, because you insulate, you're saving energy, but now you got to put in, not everybody has money for an HRV either, like the cost to do it too. So it's a touchy subject. Yes, I agree with you. Like you said, a house is a system. You touch one thing. I found that out in 2009, and before knowing what I was doing. I came from the soil science industry in my education. I switched over to building science in 2009 and doing this at home. And you realize really quickly when you do one thing, you press a button here, something else pushes out the other side. So it's a very good point. Yeah, we're very aware of some of the issues too. So
Envelope first.
envelope first.
Any other questions for Rob?
Yeah, and I'm kicking around too for the rest
Great.
of the day too.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Definitely want to elicit, not to stick my neck out again on it, but the sealed unit thing,
Yeah.
I definitely want to engage with people on it and talk to people and hear some feedback. And that's probably a longer conversation offline. So
Great. All right. Thanks, Rob.
thank you.